Welcome back to Stargirl, episode 8, season 1. I can finally say season 1, episode 8. This is Shiv part 2, um, but I wanted to start this episode, boy, okay, by acknowledging that Stargirl is officially moving to the CW, um, and I don't know, it's kind of up in the air right now as to what that truly means. Um, you know, People are speculating that it means the end of DC Universe, the app, which I can see. I think it's kind of been apparent ever since Doom Patrol got moved to HBO Max, well, jointly streamed there. That was kind of like one of the first signs for me personally. Then DC Daily got shut down, and Swamp Thing getting rerun airs on CW. They're moving all their stuff, even to an extent, Netflix having Titans. Um, it's all just kind of proving that DC Universe is probably gonna shut down soon. They might announce it at the Fandom thing in August. Um, the only thing that we really don't know right now is what that means. What if DC Universe does shut down, what does that mean for Young Justice Outsiders? Um, Harley Quinn, there's no word yet on if there's a season 3, and Titans season 3. What's going to happen with that? Because it was in the works before coronavirus, but even with that, what does that mean? Um, so I hope the fandom has some answers as to the state of affairs with DC Universe, the show or the streaming service, um, and just sort of addressing some of these shows that are up in the air right now, confirming if they're going to be canceled or not, and the progress of the shows that aren't canceled, um, especially Outsiders. I feel like that one could have some progress made already, maybe a trailer, hopefully, but that's kind of wishful thinking. Titans is harder because live action. Anyways, back to Stargirl. My main point in bringing this all up is that I'm kind of nervous about the dip in quality that might happen once it gets to CW. I know that this show is technically a Berlanti production, um, and Jeff Johns works on a lot of DVC stuff, so his you can't really say this is the tone it will have because I mean I'm pretty sure Berlanti for sure has credits on Doom Patrol, which is totally different from everything else in the Arrowverse. I want to say he has production credits on Titans, but I'm not positive. Um, so they have their hands in a lot of different shows, but as far as what that will do, I think the more of we can look at English. Um, I think the more important thing to look at is the CW shows we have already, especially like looking at Supergirl, which was from a different network, and how it transitioned tonally to become on the CW now. I was personally a fan of season 1 the most. I've only seen season 2. I need to really catch up on that to make a valid critique, but um, from what I have seen of GIFs and photo sets and short clips and stuff, um, I'm not digging the new tone. Same with Flash. I haven't gotten past. I finished season 3. Haven't seen anything past that except for you know basic spoilers and stuff. Um, and it feels like right now the Arrowverse is kind of in that same spot that Marvel was in actually after Endgame. Their big event has happened, and now they're kind of in the aftermath of like, what do we do? I've heard Legend is still good, so I need to stop. I focus. Okay, so the point with Stargirl being on CW, I'm just worried about how that's going to shift tonally. Will it stay the same production team and all that stuff? Because this is obviously, it just feels different. It's called a DC Universe Original right here in the poster. Um, so it has this movie quality feel to it that like Swamp Thing had, and even Titans to an extent, which Titans has a writing problem more than anything, but budget-wise, production-wise, it's very well done. Um, so the fear is with the production side, the budgeting. The VFX for the show are a lot better than some of the CW shows. As much as I do dig on some of the CGI here, it is it's bearable comparison. Um, Anyways, I just want to get that out of the way. Feel free to talk about that in the comments, and we'll just get into this episode. I'm very interested to see what happens. Uh, I heard someone in the comments was saying that we're going to get a Shiny Knight episode and a Henry episode, which will be very interesting to sort of see how that plays out, as well as what that means for the season overall. Someone in the discussion about Stargirl moving was talking about how they don't see how it could be more than one season show anyways. But I think, they could do, like I've been saying, I think they could do the younger kids in Evil ISA, or even just bringing in a Dr. Fate and how chaotic that would be, to have a new Lord of Order and all that. That would be something powerful to face. Even if it's not necessarily a bad guy. I mean, we've got Doom Patrol so far, which is, they have villains of the week, but, one of their main problems right now is Dorothy. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking. We can talk all day about this, so let's just get into the episode. Alright, she just got messed up. Why are we doing this? What the hell, Pat? Oh, God.
This hotel is so cute. How did you find it?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Friend recommended it to me.
I didn't want it to happen, but it's happening. Barbara, no.
I just want to...
What is it?
There's been an accident.
Okay, that's a good excuse, I guess. Dangerous, but it all worked out.
What happened to you?
He was in a car accident.
I told the hospital it was an accident, too.
She'll take this away from me.
I mean, good. You're 15.
Do not make me remove my hood.
What does that mean? Okay, well, it's got some Medusa stare or
What
something.
the hell are we doing just standing here? Cindy Berman sent Courtney to the emergency room tonight.
Boy, if Courtney got her ass beat, what do you think
Hey.
you're gonna do?
We have no idea what we'd be walking into or who we'd be up against.
You hurt so much you want to hurt everyone else. Is that it, Rick?
She said,
I care about
picked.
Courtney. About both.
I've got a plan.
Good.
A good one.
I put the glasses on and ask, who are Cindy's parents?
Makes you my sister, and that's pretty cool.
Yay.
Thanks, little bro.
Oh, damn, Henry.
While we were here, we came up with a plan.
Where's Beth?
She's knocking on the front door.
Beth!
What is their plan?
To join the squad.
Pat's like,
Eventually. I need lessons.
as cringy as it is, I appreciate the writing perspective of sidelighting Courtney for this episode. It's a manner of speaking.
Your friends is here to see you if you're up for it.
Oh, sure.
It's Cindy. It's fucking Cindy.
Hey, new girl.
Bitch.
Cindy.
She knows. She knows.
All right.
Bitch.
I'm
She's
a
a
mechanic.
doctor.
Wow, Beth.
Well, they call me the car doctor, but what do you do? What about you?
Oh my God, don't go down there, Beth.
Weird.
I swear to
There's a
God.
keypad by the basement door. I really need a friend right now.
You just tried to kill me, bitch.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to mention. I really like your staff, Stargirl.
Yeah, she knew. Of course she knew. We been knew. We been knew.
Do
She
you think
been.
after all this time, after I kill your friends,
Oh my God. Bitch. Oh, she's gonna go home now and they're all there hiding in the bushes. Beth.
come on, Beth.
Turn the fuck around. Turn around. Every now and then you gotta escape. Thank you. Jesus. Beth. Fucking put the picture back. Jump out the window. Jump out the fucking window. I swear to God.
That certainly does.
Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, that ought to do it. There we go.
You're a lifesaver.
Yeah, and hopefully if something else goes wrong, your husband can take care of it, whoever he is.
Oh my God, Henry is getting too much power right now. Oh my God, Henry, no! There's the costume. Okay, where are all those tapes for? I see the label day something.
Dear Dr. King,
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate you agreeing to my proposal. My daughter Cindy will watch your son well. Cindy's very good at watching things. I'll alert you to any changes, and again, thank you for the opportunity.
He is literally one of my favorite characters in this show right now. Because I just don't know what they're doing with him.
Cindy?
Henry, what the fuck are you doing here?
Henry! Don't go soft on me. We're the same. I have to stop her. Just like our parents.
She wants to kill all my friends.
I hate her. I need to kill her.
She's too strong. Say no.
Dad will love me now. What's Henry?
Like my dad.
What's Henry doing?
Fucking God. Bro.
Anyways,
What's happened to me?
what do I say?
She's,
How do I explain?
she's
Where's
saying
Cindy?
everything already.
Cindy, where is Cindy? Cindy knows who I am.
Courtney?
She knows about the JSA.
JSA?
No, he's reading my thoughts.
What is she doing to me?
What do I do?
My head's exploding.
Henry,
I
wait!
have to get away.
My God. Bro. Don't. Oh my God, dude. How is that not a good episode? Like, this is the stuff that I love about this show. The kind of stuff that I don't want to lose when it goes to CW. Like, if they don't do Artemis this season, and they leave it for a season 2 thing, I just don't see them doing her justice the way that they are doing Henry right now, and even Cindy. Oh my God, I'm getting teary-eyed just like how epic that was. Okay. Not a lot to talk about this episode actually, besides the ending there. Barbara and Jordan in the beginning, they're slowly but surely setting up something there. Especially if now that Pat wants to tell Barbara about what's going on with the JSA and everything, if she does learn and knows about stuff, then that makes her vulnerable to Jordan specifically because she works in their system. So if he even gets an inkling of who Courtney is for one, who Pat is, or that Barbara knows anything, there's so many there's so many avenues basically once she knows about it. Once she's on the in, there's so many avenues to the bad guys taking over and using her, threatening her and stuff. So, like, the logical part of me, I mean, not the logical part, but one side of me says, tell her because it's the right thing to do morally. The other side is saying, keep her in the dark because once she knows, everything becomes way more dangerous now. Um, but it's still a very interesting storyline that's going on right now with her. Mike apologizing. Okay. Once, if they do something with him this season, it needs to be on the level that Henry just had. Like, the build up for Henry this episode was just amazing. Same with Shining Knight. Like, if Shining Knight can get his epic payoff, I'll be here for it. So with Mike, the only thing that will keep me invested in his character is if they do have some sort of payoff like that. Um, I said it in other episodes, but I'm fine with him as a character, like just being the little brother. I don't need him to be anything else, but the way that they are filming him and making him part of the story, it feels like they're trying to set up something more for him. So because of that, my expectations are getting higher and higher, and I feel like the show isn't going to deliver on those expectations. That's my only fear. But other than that, from a story perspective, I just don't see the point of him right now at the level that he is. Um, I think Barbara is at the right amount of exposure in the episodes. Mike has maybe less exposure, but his scenes just feel more like they're doing stuff with him than Barbara's do, if that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like whenever I talk about Mike, I just feel like I'm just babbling about something and have this weird prejudice against him. I don't. I just feel like I can see where Barbara's story is going, and I can understand why she has certain scenes and the impact of those scenes. But with Mike, it just feels like, why are we doing this? you know, if they're trying to set it up a certain way, it's not getting across. But then again, maybe it's just to show ingraining in me the fact that everyone is somebody. And the more scenes we get with Mike, I'm like, who is he? Maybe he's not anybody, and maybe they're just scenes. But because of the way the show was built around the fact that, everyone is either the child of somebody or they are the somebody, um, it makes me feel like he has to be somebody. Um, so we'll see. Um, Jordan, uh, going back to the thing about the CW maybe not having the best special effects, I love the special effects on Jordan. I love when he ices up. I thought that was a really cool scene, really harrowing. Um, I kind of mentioned it during the video, but I still don't know what the hell the New America, whatever their goal is. Um, it seems like from a personal standpoint, Jordan is going after the people that had a hand in giving his wife whatever disease she had, complications, health problems, Um, that's what that scene was about from my understanding. I just don't get, is that part connected to the New America, whatever? Um, and if so, how does that happen? Um, so I couldn't tell if it was a personal vendetta or if it was a business, thing. Um, and I'm not saying they have to be separate things, but uh, the fact that we don't know what the business part is yet just makes me wonder if the personal is the business, if that makes sense. If you get my analogies at all. The kids, they just need to not, they need to listen to Pat more, okay? I'm just, this episode was bearable. The only, cringe thing that I was like, I just don't understand why it keeps happening was Courtney going in at the end. Um, Beth and them going to Cindy's house. yes, it was bad. It was a bad move, but for one thing, it all worked out in the end. For another, they haven't done it as much as Courtney has, so I was okay with them like messing up that one time. If it, you know, it wasn't as like constant of a character trait of them like rushing into things. It was just the one time. Hopefully they learned after Pat, you know, scolds them. But with Courtney, it's like you need to learn to calm down, and she thinks she's one invincible, two in charge of everything, and she needs to realize she's part of a team, and that part of being on a team is having trust in your coworkers. Well, in this case, your whatever that you want to call it, teammates. Um, Sorry, I was going off a bit on my personal life. But if you're on a team like this, part of it is recognizing your strengths and your teammates' strengths and where those you know, interlap, is that a word? Intersect, overlap. Um, what things you can do that I can't do, and vice versa, and just having faith in them to do what needs to be done. Um, and I feel like the other three are kind of getting that lesson. They trusted in Beth to make a plan, formulate it, and execute it, and for all intents and purposes, it went off without a hitch. They all got out okay. Um, Cindy didn't come after them at that moment. They got the pictures, so they technically won their mission. Um, but the fault was with Courtney, I think, at the end there. For one, she didn't take a second and slow down and double check. It looked like there was at least a couple hours had passed because it was daylight when they left, and then all of a sudden it's nighttime when they had the fight. Um, so she didn't check to see where Pat and the rest of them were. You know, Obviously in the moment, she was texting Yolanda, and Yolanda wasn't texting back, so she assumed the worst. But maybe that's just a storytelling part where they didn't fill in the blanks because it looked like some time had passed. You should have kept trying, and then eventually I think Yolanda would have gotten back to her that, hey, we're okay. Um, so there's that part of Courtney rushing in. But then, like I said, the other half is that you got to put trust in your teammates. She's too often going in, rushing head first, saying, I have to be the hero, I will do this, when she needs to recognize that we can do this together. Especially if you train them and like help them out some more, and like if you actually get them up to speed on things and sort of help them out, then they'll be more capable in the future, and they can help you out in the future instead of you just being the lone warrior. Um, so I'm just waiting for that lesson to finally sink in for her. I thought we were going to have that a couple episodes ago after the Sportsmaster and Tigress fight, but I guess it hasn't hit. She got stabbed. She's still like, I can do it. And it's a flaw and a character trait, like a positive character trait at the same time, because I've been pointing out the flaw part, but I mean on the positive side, it means that she's very loyal, and she's very heroic and courageous and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's just kind of foolhardy to be rushing in all the time like that. Okay. The video will be trimmed down, obviously, but my timer is almost going to hit an hour. I'm trying to wrap this up. The last thing, my throat's so dry. The last thing is Henry. I loved him this episode. Really cool discovering his powers, and my verdict, I'm still up in the air. Just because he did technically stop Cindy in the moment, he was still looking for her and trying to help her. So there's a part of me that says he does end up a villain. For me personally, I think that villain might just be a third party kind of thing. I could see that from a story perspective because the ISA wants Henry for his powers. So I could see him being like a fugitive at the moment, not knowing how to trust anybody. He doesn't know what's going on, so maybe he's running from the JSA and the ISA. I could see that storyline happening. I could see him somehow talking with Cindy and getting on the ISA side. He is technically a villain so far as his classification. I mean, the first episode he was in, he was a bully, so there's a tick off for that. you know, he's dating Cindy, so there's some points there. You know, it's a possibility. I think it's more likely that he will be a third party compared to being a villain. Um, the smallest, the smallest chance of happening, but the one that I want to happen is him to be a good guy. And I just don't think, especially with Artemis in the show, when they could just assign that storyline to her, having her be like the redeemed traitor or whatever you want to call it. Um, you know, I think they would try and go with that route over Henry. But I mean, one, there's another boy on the team, because they are kind of outnumbered right now. It's just not Henry. What's his name? Mike? No, Rick. It's just Rick right now. Pat doesn't count. He's an adult. Um, but you know, adding Henry to the team, a telepath for one. You know, we've seen it in Young Justice why telepaths are important. And just be cool to sort of see also Yolanda. You know, their exes, so maybe this can be like a path of redemption too. Um, I don't know. I'm leaning more towards, from what they've shown us, I'm leaning more towards he'll just be a fugitive on the run, a weapon pretty much for whoever is gonna grab him up first. But I really do want him to be a hero, and I think it'd be a really cool storyline. Okay, with that, thank you for watching, everyone. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought. Uh, yeah, next episode is gonna be crazy. If it's gonna be about Henry. Oh God, that's gonna be so cool. I think we only have like 4 episodes, right? This was 9, 8. I think we have like 4 or 5 episodes left. I think it's 5 actually. So 5 episodes left. We still need to get Shiny Knight, figure out what's going on with him. Um, we got to do something with this stupid American Dream thing. Is the pen gonna be resolved? The Thunderbolt pen this season? Hopefully. I mean, it would be kind of cool to have it be for a next season thing, but also would people forget about it by then? Um, and yeah, what's gonna happen with Cindy next time? You know, she got like abducted. Is she gonna be like grounded, quote unquote? And by that I mean like held hostage by her father. Um, are we gonna tell Barbara about this stuff? Bringing it back to my first point. Anyways, lots of things to think about, lots of things to discover next week. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll talk with you in the comments below. Bye bye.